G'day and welcome back to another episode of the Rise and Form podcast. The podcast that has real talk about forming your character with actually useful psychology.
We're an unlikely duo of an American psychologist and an Aussie psychologist who both love theology and the science of change.
So grab a chair and a hot cup of coffee and open your heart and mind to the conversation.
Please follow us on Instagram and Spotify or Apple. That way you can find us easy and know when we post our next episode.
Now on to the show.
Should we just dive
Yeah,
in?
let's do it.
We're saying hello to everybody for 2025. and funnily enough.
And goodbye. No.
And goodbye. And it's been great.
Yeah.
I want a refund on 2025. Rise and Form wants a refund. We're returning all things back to the store. No, well, maybe, yesterday we had a chat. We'd been sort of on hiatus, and I think, regular listeners knew that we were taking December off, and we hadn't really done much, had we? We'd been doing holiday stuff and not posting anything, spending time with family.
Yeah.
And both of us had some significant changes last year. You with, moving location and making some big financial family moves, and we're pregnant, so my wife and I are going to be adding to our family, which also comes with some financial moves. But with all of that said, the hiatus we took kind of led us to a conversation we had yesterday where we both felt pretty mutual that it's time to at least go on some kind of pause from podcasting in this format of what Rise and Form's been doing. So this will be our last podcast, at least for the time being. For now.
And I think, too, I think this is like the product of taking that break. Like we said, we wanted to reflect. We said we wanted to think about things and be thoughtful and prayerful. And this is really, I think, what God has been communicating to both of us in this time is we need this extended hiatus to focus on other things, and that, Rise and Form might just change how it shows up, but it's still there. We still want it to be there. But I think this format for now is in this season of life that we're in and going into, it won't be as sustainable, and so it won't be as fruitful. We want it to be fruitful. We want it to be thoughtful. And I think that's where we were struggling a lot, is feeling strapped for time and no time to think. And that didn't feel good to us. So we wanted to honor that.
Not having the time. Yeah, totally honoring that. Not having the time to be really intentional about what we're talking about, what we're doing. We would be cramming in, meetings between sessions sometimes, or would be even recording on our lunch breaks and stuff like that, which I like. It's hard, isn't it? Because we live in America, we live in hustle, get after it. If you know, someone else will do it if you don't. And so I liked our hustle, and I think we got a lot done.
Yeah, we did.
Literally, it was basically bookended a year of kind of starting Rise and Form from nothing to making it into a podcast and other stuff too.
That's
but we want to
pretty amazing that we've had we've gotten people interested. We've spoken with amazing guests. We've had phenomenal conversations, thought-provoking, that have changed my life, and I know if you changed yours. We've had aha moments in that, and I know that listeners have had aha moments too, because I've heard that, from that feedback. So it's been great to go from nothing to a year of this, to have 30 some odd podcasts, which means 30 some odd guests, to have a website, to have we did good. We did good. I know. I actually let Preston know last night, who's our COO. I just had a quick chat with him, and we'll talk with him later. But I just let him know that we're going to be at least
wrapping up the podcast for now. Who knows what we'll come back as later in, you know, we were talking about all sorts of ideas, weren't we, Andrea? Like, oh, man, let's change our format. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, we're reaching a conclusion that life's changing a bit for us and we need to put our, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, I think there was a bit of a chat with him and with you yesterday was that combination of grief. Like, you know, it's hard because I like the good parts of this. And like, I think we both agree, like the good parts of the bad, like the aha stuff, the revelation, the people we meet, the way we were inspired. It changed my life, like no doubt changed my life, this process. It was like getting discipled right from Matthew Hodges, right from the beginning. It was like so good for us, and it's definitely given me a way. I've risen and formed as a result. So no way that this is a failure. And then there's just grief that you have to stop something, or like, you know, that perhaps you've got other priorities that we could keep going, and then we might neglect the things that God's been telling us to do. And
sometimes it's just like you can have two good things, and it's about which one do you prioritize. And I think those are sometimes the hardest decisions, where it's not like this is good, this is bad, you know?
Yeah, but that was a lot of what we were realizing about formation as well, is you've got to be in step with the Spirit. And you just can't do anything aside from the Spirit. And if you're rushed and if you're hustling and if you're pushing, there's definitely seasons for that. But I want to be obedient. I want to be really quick to respond to, my heart's not feeling aligned with this. I don't want to wait another year to finally obey or listen to God. And so I was wrestling with that. Like, is this my tiredness? Am I just not inspired? Am I a quitter? You know, what is it? You know, and I just kept having this image. There was this one night where we had to you know, get to a recording or something, and my daughter, who is still, you know, she's still in a crib. She wasn't even 2 yet. She's holding my finger because that's what she does to fall asleep while I lay next to the crib. And I was like, I need her to let go of my hands.
Oh no!
You know, which I bet parents can so relate to. You know, because you do it every night. But when I really think about that moment, I'm like, I'll wish that I just let her hold my finger longer, and I'll wish that moment never ended. You know, and I was like, well, where else do you want to be but just next to your little sweetie? And so I think yes, we got to teach them to separate and sleep train and all that. Yeah. I'm with you, but at the same time, just, you know, wow, you know, like,
cherish the moments, like those. And I think there's one thing about like just this hustle and grind, and I think we can do that in seasons, and we can do that given kind of our demographic, or, you know, like, but when you're with kids, I think a lot of things change with that, because it's not that we're not grinding, it's that we're grinding for them. And a lot of the grinding for them isn't just about work. It's also about like, how are we pouring into them? How are we tending and attuning to them? Because I know I told you, like, we last week we didn't meet, and I had this beautiful moment with my daughter, and we started doing I was telling her, because I'm jealous, because Carrie always they have daddy daughter donut day. It's every Tuesday. Oh man. And they do that. So when they saw you at the park, that was daddy daughter donut day.
Yes. That I swear that was there's some divinity to that moment, because but no, you continue. What
I've been jealous because I didn't have a day, because every day was taken up with something. And what's the use of being busy if you're not putting the work where you need to put it? And I've needed more time with my daughter. And so last Monday we had our first I call it Mommy and Me Mondays. And so we did our little day, and she loves Dutch Brothers. So we walked and got Dutch Brothers, and then we went to the park and just walked. And I just like, I love to be able to like keep that rotation, to be able to hear her heart, where she knows I have mom's ear all the time. And I didn't have that before, because I was just filling it with good things, but it's about prioritizing. And I think both of us have constantly talked about our kids and wanting to prioritize, really bringing them up, discipling them, forming them. Like, what, if we're forming everybody else and we're not forming our kids.
No, it's totally, yeah, and there's little indicators, isn't there? And I think we're human. We got into this thinking this wouldn't take that much time or be that all-consuming, and of course it is. And so that's cool. We learned that lesson, that to do anything takes a lot of work and a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort. And then yes, that's taking away from something else, right? You're choosing something over something else, and so I think recognizing that, and like I was talking to you yesterday about just along with parenthood, but with friends and stuff as well, and just our local church. Like, there's need just to work in those spaces too, and I said work. You know what I mean? Like love, serve, support. Our friends just had a baby, and they've got a meal train going, and it's like, hey, like, do I want to be cooking a meal for a friend, or do I want to be sending emails or something for the podcast? And it's like, I think that's the stuff that we want to have down as well. And there's, some people can do it all. They're in the position where they're able to balance out their schedules. But I think for us right now, it just makes sense that we prioritize just some key aspects of Rise and Form. And I think, that one thing that we want to keep open is just opportunities to do in-person work. And so our website will be live. We'll still have our socials up. I don't know how active we'll be. We'll see, but definitely with the churches and communities that want to book us for trainings or courses, or to do some speaking on psychology, on formation, that'll be good. And I think that won't take up too much more of our time. So
we still want to do that. It's just having it where it's like, maybe it comes at a different rhythm, and we can serve in a different way. And I'm just looking forward to seeing God. I think God blessed this time that we had for the podcast, and it just feels like a shift. It feels like he's saying, okay, shift on to something else. And I think it's so important for us to not I think we really do feel like this is from God. God gave us this idea, and it's hard not to like hold on and be like, okay, God, well, like, why did you give me this idea? And maybe it was just for this season. I don't even know if we know fully like all the impact or all the reasons why it went this far, but
I know. I mean, I've already thought of the amount of times Jesus and Bible characters change direction. And it's like, you told me to go this way, but then there's time to change direction, and that's it's not just like, hey, I told you to go this way forever. It's like just for this way for now. And now there's been like, the sun came out on your face when he said like,
so bright on my face.
I was taking it as like, some epiphany, but it's like, no, it's just
discomfort. But I don't feel like getting up. But yes, the Lord is speaking to us right now. Let's go holy.
He's shining upon us.
Here we go.
There you go. But also I think changing our hearts, because I think one of the things that has happened as a result of this is you and I have become great friends and colleagues in this process. And I think our partners and our futures we have some just exciting things ahead. Like, we'll see what happens with that, but that's God's heart too. He loves Abe, he loves Andrea, he loves our families. He cares about that more than anything else, he cares about us. So it's funny because, like, we're always like, doing this so we can do stuff for others. And it's like, as you and I sit here, it's like, God, did you do all of this for me?
Right.
And that's because I'm the center of my story. I think, God did it all for me, And I was like, thank you, Jesus, because like you've formed me. You've helped me develop seriously, my mindset has changed as a result of this. And he loves you, and he's done that for you. So it's like, God just loves, and his work is incredible and mysterious. And so I think if anything comes from it, and that's what I would love listeners to know as well, that you and I are tighter than ever. And you know, it didn't end in this hasn't ended in that way, or some bad thing
we
that's
will
happened.
still be hanging out. So we just won't be hanging out on the podcast.
Yeah, we're hanging out on Saturday. Which is I'm excited about. Pastries at the Paxtons.
Right. Pastries at the Paxtons.
Yeah, but
yeah. No, I think that's
good. So what else do we need to say? Anything else to our beautiful listeners?
Last would just be thank you. I think it meant so much to us to see like the viewership increase, or to see people like noticing us on Instagram. Like that was just a boost, because otherwise it just feels like you're just speaking out into like nothingness. So to get feedback like that of people just subscribing or liking or whatever, it's just like, okay, like people are out there, because like how else do you know? Like, because literally it's not like we're sitting in front of a bunch of people, we're just sitting in front of our computers. So it was man, when we got to, what was it, like 1,000 followers on Instagram, we were like, yay. Or like we got to 100 listeners at one point on Spotify. And it was like, we celebrated, because that was part of our milestone. It was a part of like the one link we had to listeners. So thank you for all the ways you guys like responded to us, shared, and always like listened out.
Yeah, definitely. We're so grateful for that. And I think, I have mixed feelings, because I would have loved to interact more with you as a listener, and and the people that did interact with us, that was great. And so, because we weren't interested in just putting content out. We didn't want to be content creators. We wanted to be community makers, right? But thank you for being a part of the journey with us, and also for trusting us as flawed humans that have some credentials to attempt to help provide good resources, good information. We were always really interested in providing truth and being, and I think these words are synonymous really, but being genuine, not just being real, and which is being honest, being real with you all. And but if you're interested in any being in touch with us in any way, or if you've got any ideas, or you just have any questions for us, it'll be connect@riseandform.
Connect@riseandform.com, or go to riseandform.com. You can find us there, or Instagram,
or on the gram. And what I would encourage you to do is keep rising and forming. Keep working on your mindset. Don't let your mind run with whatever it comes up with. Sharpen your mind. And the best way to do that is be steeping in the word, and regularly, and work on constantly being in step with the Spirit, which is going to form you.
I love that. That's a good way to end it.